Hi, my love. I want to ask you a really intimate question right now. Is church not doing it for you anymore, or has it not done it for you for a long time? Have you felt burned by the church or the other religious institution that you used to attend or still attend? Do you feel like the church is not providing you the experience and opportunity to understand who God is for real, like the real experience of God, not just the experience people talk about and they try to force onto you, but actually feeling that experience? Do you feel like maybe you were exploited or abused or manipulated and you felt further and further and further away from the truth? I completely understand where you are. I've been there, and I have noticed there's a huge pool of people who are in this experience where they used to lean into the church, but they realized the church was not providing them the safety, the experience with God that is that unconditional, loving, miraculously healing God. And so people leave, and then they're in this limbo. And I was totally in this limbo. And this is where we are seeking and trying to find different answers in different ways and different truths so we can get to the real truth. And ultimately, we're all wanting to feel that unconditional love, unconditional peace, that unwavering faith that people talk about. I was totally here. It took me over 17 years to finally find a church in Chicago that I can call my home, that I actually feel good in, where I actually feel the Spirit moving through. I feel like it's an epidemic right now in the Christian community where churches are really not providing the experience that people need. So I took some alone time for many years. I was in and out trying to find the church, and I would join this Bible study and I would join this women's group and I would try this church for a couple years, and then I would end up hitting this plateau and not being able to really dive into the truths that people were claiming was possible, but it didn't seem like they had dove into it. I hadn't dove into it, and no one's at fault for this, but it was just my experience. I felt this lack of depth that I wanted to feel with God. So I took a hiatus completely, and I made a church within my own home. And I studied and I meditated on the word, and I learned and I communed with God, and I communicated and prayed. And it took me some time. And there was a lot of in and out too. Like I would tap into that God frequency that people talk about, but then I would tap out back into hell on earth, and then back into heaven on earth, and then back to hell on earth. And it was this, and it was a little chaotic. But through this, I know that God has used me as a vessel to learn these hard lessons and to go through all of this trial and error and to stumble and fall and get back up into alignment with his truth, to help people, to assist people with doing the same without having to go through all of those years of stumbling. Now, I do believe on this journey with God, there's going to be stumbling that's inevitable, but I do feel like we can completely shorten that amount of time that we are lost and confused and wandering. I personally needed to know that Jesus existed outside of what someone was telling me. I had to know it. Like I had to see it for myself. So I prayed for God to meet me where I was outside of the church, to show me what is real. And he did. And I had a serious encounter in my shower where I feel like I was baptized by Christ himself, literally. And that led me to write this book right here. Check it out if you haven't. Link is in my bio. And God told me to write this book and to create a formula for people to get into alignment with him without being forced, without being preached at, right? Without being told what is real, but actually leaning into the experience of what is real with God. I do believe that there is a methodology, a science behind faith. Not everybody just wakes up one day and says, I have the faith. Yep, it's here, 100%. I have no problems. A lot of us, most of us, have to deconstruct the mental strongholds, the mental habits, the behavior habits, and all of the psychological and biological habits that are interfering with really leaning into faith with trust and safety and knowing. So I was led to break this up in a step-by-step methodology, a scientific process to build faith, to connect with God, to understand the truth of God, to understand how God can manifest through you into this world. And this is where manifestation comes in, but a lot of people skew what manifestation actually is. It is literally God moving through you to manifest these miracles that are aligned with your spirit's desires in this physical realm. And I was led to create this methodology, which is 11 steps, which I broke down into 77 days of activations in my curriculum in the Godfidence Clinic. And the step-by-step guide is what I went through, but shortened into 11 weeks. So I went through it in about 18 years. We're shortening it to 11 weeks. And this is my Accelerated Godfidence Clinic. This is what I talk about all the time. This is what I love. This is my highest level program. This is the program that has helped people break through strongholds like that. It is truly insane to see how quickly, how rapidly people come into coherence with who God is, come into the clarity and the truth of who God is for them personally. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm inviting people in. Now is the time. This year is more than halfway over. How do you want to finish off this year? Do you want to stay in this stagnancy, or do you want to play around with the trial and error like I did for so long? Or are you ready to step into a guide that can assist you with shifting into your faith in ways that are absolutely miraculous? Right now, because we are in August and it's almost the end of the year and we have 5 months left until we get into 2024, I'm offering a special offer for those who are genuinely interested and ready to invest their time and their energy in this Accelerated Godfidence Clinic. I am inviting you in. Be sure to book your Freedom Strategy call so you can learn more. Also, be sure to watch my free webinar. It's in my bio so you can see some of the success stories, but we've had plenty since then. I made that webinar about a year ago, so there's been a lot more success stories since then. You will know if this is resonating with you. You will know if it is your time. And I am hoping that you lean in and you push past the resistance so that you can break through into your heaven on earth, into your experience with God in ways that you've never had before. I love you and I support you. Let's go.